Alright, 271 class, here is one more video from the 2.3 homework set. This one's you're going to have to do the most work to find these values for delta. Okay, so first of all we need to find the limit. So how do I find the limit? Well, this is, we can simplify this one. So notice that f of x can be factored on the top and bottom, or the top anyway, to x minus 3, x plus 3, 3, and x minus 3 on the bottom would cancel with that new factor on the top. So this is basically the same as x plus 3. Now it's not, so if you graphed this, as it were, there'd be a hole in the graph at 3, 6, but it could have been simplified. It just wasn't, so we'd have to deal with that hole. Alright, so what is the limit as x approaches 3 in this problem? This is what we're having to do to begin with, but because it reduced, the limit here is the same as the limit in the simplified version, which is simply just x plus 3. Here I couldn't plug in a 3 because it would have caused division by 0, but here there is no division, so I don't have to worry about it. So I can plug in 3, I get 3 plus 3, which is equal to 6. So that's our limit. That's L in this notation. Okay, C is 3, alright, and epsilon is 0.05. Okay, so now what do I need to do? I need to say, alright, the absolute value of x minus 3 is less than delta, which means, again, delta 1 is less than x minus 3 is less than delta 2. Alright, then I add 3 to both sides. I'll get 3 plus delta 1 is less than x is less than 3 plus delta 2. I'm just getting this x isolated in the middle. Okay, so this from here to here, that's just definition of absolute value inequality. And then from here to here, I'm just adding 3 in the middle and corresponding to the sides to get that x isolated in the middle. So this comes from, this inequality comes from this guy right here. Okay, now I'm going to get another inequality, I'll do it in blue, from this part. Alright, f of x is this thing right here. X squared minus 9 over x plus 3. Right, that's our f of x. Minus L minus 6 in absolute values is less than epsilon. Again, epsilon is 0.05. Okay, now, just like we said, this simplifies to, I'm sorry, that's supposed to be a minus 3 on the bottom. Yeah, that simplifies to simply just x plus 3. I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite it like that, so showing that, but that should have been a minus 3 on the bottom, and it would simplify to x plus 3, as we saw. And so we end up with x minus 3 in absolute values is less than 0.05. Okay, and so we, once again, we have a negative 0.05 is less than x plus minus 3 is less than positive 0.05. Right, this inequality, let me add 3 to all 3 sides here, but this inequality came from this guy. Alright, which ultimately leads to this statement here, which I'll 3 minus 0.05 is 2.95 is less than x now, the minus 3 and the plus 3 cancel, is less than 3.05. Alright, now, what does this mean? Well, these two inequalities, one implies the other. So we can set these two things equal. We've got 3 plus delta, 3 plus delta 1, 3 plus delta 2. So 3 plus delta 1 is equal to 2.95. 3 plus delta 2 is equal to 3.05. Now in this case, if you solve for both of these, oops, and I'm sorry, this should be 3 minus delta 1. This one again is the opposite of the other, so this is like below. This should be a minus, I apologize. So we subtracted some number from 3, we got 2.9. We added some number from 3, we got 3.05. So in both cases, delta 1 and delta 2 are both equal in this one. They're both 0.05. But again, why is that? You know, because in the other videos I said they'll be different. Well, I said they'll be different unless it's a line. All right, and this simplifies to a line, mx plus b. So 1x plus 3, that is a line. So in this case, delta 1 is equal to delta 2. And that just means that we're dealing with a line here. So delta is 0.05. And that's the delta that we're looking for.